Now we'll see different types of arteries in a body. There are, you can say, three main types of arteries: elastic arteries, muscular arteries, and arterioles. Now here these arterioles are smallest arterial vessels. They are such a small that they are not termed as a capillary, but they are little bit ahead of a capillary. They don't show any histological structures of capillary, but they are very small, thin, and they show all histological structure of arteries. So they are not named as a capillary, but they are named as arterioles. So here alternate name of arteriole is a smallest arterial vessels. Muscular arteries, or they are also named as a small or medium sized arteries because they contain numerous muscles, and where the muscles are present in tunica media, middle layer. And which kind of muscles are they? They are smooth muscles. So much more amount of smooth muscles are present in arteries. Their size is small to medium size, and they are also named as a muscular arteries. Now, elastic arteries. Here, elastic arteries, they contain high amount of elastic fibers. Rather than more amount of muscles, they contain more amount of elastic fibers. And another name of these elastic arteries, they are large arteries. When we see a very considerable large arteries which are very near to the heart, or they originate from heart, and the major arteries, their type, histological type, you see they shows more amount of these elastic fibers as compared to the smooth muscles. So they are called as a large arteries or elastic arteries. Here quickly we'll see histological structure of this elastic artery. The basic structure is same: tunica media, tunica innermost layer, tunica intima, media, and adventitia. But little bit variations in a quantity of adventitia, media, and intima happens in a types of arteries. So these arteries that receive blood directly from the heart, that is major aorta or pulmonary arteries, come under this category. Here in that tunica adventitia, they have small vasoriums, as the large arteries need their own blood supply. This vasorium is what? When a blood vessel itself receives blood supply from some blood vessels, that is called as a vasovasorium. Again, a large size of artery or veins, for functioning of this large size of artery and veins, they itself required some blood vessels, some nourishment. So whatever the blood vessels innervating these large artery and veins, providing them nutrients, oxygens, that blood vessels are called as a vasovasorium. Are you getting? You may have heard about this angiography, angioplasty. There we see lot many network of blood capillary around the heart. So heart muscles require nourishment, and that nourishment is provided by small blood vessels. Though heart pump blood, but that pumping required energy to that muscles, and that energy is provided by blood vessels. Same way, large size of arteries and veins, they required their own blood supply from various small blood vessels, and that is called as a vasovasorium. Tunica media is a broad and elastic with concentric fenestrated sheets of elastin and collagen, and only relatively very few amount of smooth muscle fibers are present. So middle layer tunica media is very broad and elastic, very less amount of muscles, but major amount of collagen and elastin fibers are there. Now what is the advantage of these elastic fibers or collagen fibers? Increased amount of collagen and elastic fibers in this tunica media. The advantage is they don't get collapse. though there is no blood, they don't get collapse. Though they are, if they remain hollow, they don't get collapse. Are you getting the point? Tube which don't get collapse. If empty, it don't get collapse. Are you getting the point? I hope. So to keep that major blood vessels in a position in strength, these are provided with lot of elastic fibers rather than muscles. Tunica intima is made up of a epithelial layer, and it is again the same like endothelium, single layer, but together they have some supported elastic rich collagens. This layer also has fibroblasts and intimal cells that accumulate lipid with aging, and the intima layer thickens, one of the first sign of a arteriosclerosis. When we say that the arteries are narrowing, there is a deposition of fat and cholesterol. This all concerned with that point. So what is the deposition is there in a tunica intima. Now here there is a slide of a cross section of blood vessels. No doubt it is a blood vessel and it is elastic artery or major large artery. Now what we have to do, we have to identify which portion is the tunica intima, which portion is tunica media, and which portion is tunica adventitia. Can you guess? Now this you can see here from this end to this. We see a same similar pattern of textures and color. Here we have to say that it's the same pattern of color and texture because we are mm, imagining the say histological structures, and when you see slide under microscope it look like this only. By looking at this color and textures we can identify whether it is a smooth muscles, muscle band or elastic fiber and many things. So slowly you will get train your eyes to identify slide under microscope by using such kind of a color and remembering such kind of a color and patterns. So this see this upper portion is a different, this lower portions where they have marked this label, it is of a different kind or textures, and this one is a different type and kind of structures. Okay, so the answers for this cross section is this is a elastic portion and this is a muscular portion. So this is a tunica media, tunica adventitia, and this is tunica interna. Another type is a muscular artery. These arteries are distributed throughout the body, and they distribute blood to various parts of our body. That includes arteries, femoral, coronary arteries. The wall of these arteries are full of smooth muscles because they have to contract and relax, and they have to maintain the blood pressure required for circulating blood. If you compare this artery, muscular artery, with the elastic artery, what you will observe is a difference between a border of the tunica intima and tunica media. There is a layer, internal elastic layer is present, and this external elastic layer is very well less defined between tunica media and adventitia. This tunica intima has a regular endothelial layer. Tunica media is primarily a layer of smooth muscles with some elastin as collagen muscles layers, and that is sandwiched between this internal elastic layer and external elastic layer. The tunica adventitia is very broad and mostly contains collagen and elastin. Major difference in this muscular artery and large artery, that is elastic artery, the major difference is between the band of muscles. In muscular artery you will find band of muscle, that is tunica media, is very large in the large with full of muscles, smooth muscles, and tunica adventitia is much more reduced. Here in this photograph, color photograph of a muscular artery, you can clearly understood now which layer is the tunica media adventitia and tunica intima. Here, this portion is a lumen, that is internal portions. Then you can see these wavy zigzag lines, that is tunica interna. Then from this layer up to this external elastic lamella, all these dark pink color structure, that is tunica media, and histologically they are smooth muscles. Then this one is a tunica adventitia. Here you can see a very fragmentations because of collagen fibers. They get detached during the microtechnic process of slide preparation. They are elastic fibers and those slowly get detached, and so it look like this, but when they are intact they shows these wavy structures indicating that they are dense connective tissues. Now this another label you will see in this photograph is the extra elastic lamella, external to the tunica media and internal to the tunica media. The terminology is elastic lamella, but where to the internal side, that means towards the lumen, and external elastic lamella, that is outside the tunica media. All terminology is related with the tunica media muscular layer. Third type of artery we are seeing is a arterioles. Arterioles are small arteries that deliver blood to capillaries. Any blood vessel between the artery and capillary is arterioles. Now arterioles control blood flow to capillary beds by contracting or dilating the size of the lumen. Blood pressure controlling takes place at this site. Therefore, this tunica media layer contains concentric rings of smooth muscles into the tunica media. At the place of muscular layer, they have very clearly marked concentrating rings of smooth muscle you will see, and they are very active for maintaining the pressures. When the blood goes into capillary, they maintain pressures using these concentric rings of smooth muscles. Here tunica intima is very thin. As usual, it is an endothelial layer, single layer, mostly consists of single layer of squamous epithelium. Nothing new in that. Throughout the blood vessel, that squamous epithelium is a single layer. So for your reference, don't bother about that endothelium. You say interna is the endothelium. Now the tunica media consists almost entirely of a single layer up to the 6 layers of smooth muscles. See the variations in the muscles layer, tunica media. Sometimes there is a single layer of muscles. As the size of arteriole goes on reducing, the muscles number rings muscular rings number goes on reducing. Sometimes it is around 6 layer thick and sometimes it is single layer thick. The tunica adventitia is about the same size as the tunica media. They are large, merged with the surrounding tissue. These arterioles, they are not free hanging. They are merged with the other tissue of that organ. So that tunica adventitia is many times merged with the surrounding tissues. You cannot separately mark that tunica adventitia. We'll see in a section in some slide color photographs where I will show you how that tunica adventitia is merged with the surrounding tissues. Now here in these two photographs, one is an actual photograph of a slide and another, this first diagram is a diagrammatic presentation of this actual photograph. First we'll see these labels and the color patterns they have given to indicate the region. This central portion is a lumen, that is hollow cavity between the blood vessels. Then this dark pink color indicates the tunica media, a layer of a smooth muscles. And these concentric lines of these dark violet slipper structures, slipper shaped structures, they indicate the muscle band. So every this single structure is a single smooth muscles with the nucleus. So all these muscle cells are there surrounding, they forming a ring-like structure in a tunica media. And outer to this tunica media is a outer layer, that is adventitia or elastic, dense connective elastic connective tissues. Now in this actual photograph, can you identify this layer in this actual photographs? See, this one is a lumen. In that lumen, you see a clump of reddish circular structure. That clump is a blood. So forget about this blood. You imagine that it is a empty and white space. So you can compare this lumen here. Now around this dark pink color portion with the violet dots in that, that is a tunica media. Okay, all these violet color dots indicate the single smooth muscles with the nucleus. And if you compare the outside of this tunica media layer, there is a different color pattern. And this is what is the tunica adventitia. And you can see how that tunica adventitia is merged with the surrounding. You cannot demark that tunica adventitia separate. So it is all together fused with the surrounding, and you can see only the lumen and the pinkish color band, that is tunica media. Now here in this again last slide of this histology of artery example I want to show you. When you see slide under microscope, it look like this, and by looking at this slide you have to identify that this slide is of arteries. How? First thing, you note that this circular structure, that means this portion is a lumen. These are the blood cells. So this is the internal empty space of a blood vessels. And this loose epithelial squamous epithelial tissue line is the endothelium line or tunica intima. Then goes little bit inside. From this line to the surface, up to the surface, you see a different color pattern here, and above to this you see a little bit different color pattern. Now this one is a middle portion, and this pinkish color middle portion indicate the tunica media, and all these are the concentric rings of a smooth muscles, and these violet dots indicate the nucleus of that muscle cells. So this is tunica media, and this is a outer layer is a tunica adventitia. Now here, as compared to this tunica media, you will find very less number of violet dots, that is nucleus are very sparingly arranged, and but you see very large number of irregular cut fiber like structures. So that is the dense irregular connective tissues layer, and so this is tunica adventitia, and this is outer layer of some organ. So just by looking at this slide, you